Hi, I'm Sterling. Come on in. The water's dark, but it's probably fine. Thanks for joining me. This is a story about a family in its singular ways. It is titled Old House Rules. Mom always told me not to look in the upstairs cupboard. I always obeyed the rule as a kid. Now, though, I'm not so sure, now that I'm going back, now that I'm grown. Mom's kind of weird. It took me a long time to know that and not just feel it, flitting around the corners of the life we lived out there on the end of the lane. I think that's why she never let me go to school or have friends over. I made friends at church back when we still went, and if we wanted to play, we had to do it in a park somewhere or in the church basement. But then Mom and the pastor had some kind of disagreement and we stopped going to church, and all my friends had to be online, just voices and text. Mom wouldn't let me take any kind of pictures in the house, including video, because it would disturb the balance. The balance of what, she never said. I think I asked once when I was little, but she widened her eyes at me that way she does, and I wished I'd never asked. At that moment, maybe I wished I'd never talked to her at all. Just turned my head away the moment I was born and never looked back. Of course, that's crazy. She's my mom, weird or not, and it wasn't until recently that I could really say that she was weird for sure. Was weird. Sorry, the past tense is still really hard for me. I loved her, I think. I'm pretty sure she never told me. But she raised me, fed me, tried to keep me safe. I'm pretty sure. I really am pretty sure. I know I miss her. She's like a missing, jagged chunk out of my identity, and the edges bleed. I can feel that much, no lie. She was in me because I came from her, right? And I spent those first 15 years with her, before the weird got too much and they took me away. They never told me exactly why. She never laid a hand on me. She didn't have to. That stare was enough. Always more than enough. She fed me, educated me. Getting into college was easy, and so was my first year. I was ready. I'm still ready to go back to my second year, I mean. But I have to take care of this first. The house. The old house at the end of the lane. I guess she never left it. I thought she would, somehow, after I was gone and not allowed to talk to her anymore. Wasn't I? Not allowed to talk to her? It sure felt like it. I don't know that anyone actually ever sat me down and told me that. Just something I felt, like Mom being weird. Not something I knew, like writing on a piece of official paper. Or Mom being weird, but later. Didn't really matter now. Mom hadn't left the house, and hadn't left the house to me either, but I was her only living relative, so here I was, driving down the lane to the house at the end. It stood there the way it always had, leaning forward, as if welcoming you. But I don't know that it was a nice welcome. I never really liked going inside. It was okay once you were in, or you could pretend it was. But going in was like being placed somewhere by someone else, someone who wanted you there, but maybe didn't like you much. I stood outside a long time without going in. From what the lawyer had said, the house was worth enough money to wipe out my student loans and let me never take out another one. I think if it hadn't been, I wouldn't have come back. But that's a lot to give up, just because Mom was weird. I have to sort through all the stuff inside to get the payment. So in I went. I should have brought someone with me. That's what I thought, alongside the old familiar forgot-on-purpose shudder that came when I stepped off the welcome mat and into the big entryway rug. But other people weren't allowed in the house. Another thing I felt, but didn't know that I'd actually been told. I had been told about the cupboard, though. Mom told me it had something to do with the people who had the house before we did. Said I could never open it, not once, not ever. I wasn't always an obedient kid. Mom had too many rules to follow them all, and a lot of them were weird. So was this one, I guess, but it was a real rule, a serious one, unbreakable. I felt that too. Mom was gone. Did that mean the rule went with her? I trudged up the stairs, smelling the familiar smells, trailing a hand along the walls as they moved, bowing in, out, out. letting the house get its fresh air, Mom had always said. The carpet rippled under my bare feet, and I reached a hand up to wet my fingers on the low, dripping ceiling, took a taste. Same as I remembered. I grabbed one of Mom's knives from the rack on the wall before I stepped into the cupboard room. That's what it was, the cupboard room. It had other things in it, like the spiral irons and the long steel stakes. But I was here for the cupboard, and I sang the song of the inward-outward, just like Mom had taught me, in our own language, older than everything else I had ever seen, she told me, and I knew it was right. It was another thing I felt, the age in the words. I banged the knife against the cracked, bloodied wood of the cupboard and called a hello. Something faint answered, so I opened it. I was standing there, only it wasn't me when I looked closely. Same face, or might have been, similar body, but dressed in rags, and emaciated. Leaning back against the back wall of the cupboard, maybe 40 feet away. His eyes were wild. They barely saw me. "Run," he said, and so I did, covering the 40 feet in a flash, driving my knife in just the way Mom had taught me. Again. "You're not the real me. I'm the real me Mom made," I muttered, and it was true. It was true. And now there would be a lot of long, deep work before the house could be sold and I could finish school, and then my real purpose could begin. I smiled and picked bits of bloodied flesh from my teeth. Hey, thanks for listening. That was Old House Rules from my short story anthology, Windows in the Dark. There's a link in the description if you'd like to read more. And if you'd like to hear more, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep you posted.